I wanted to take a moment to make a quick video. Maybe not so quick because I'm the guy who doesn't know how to tell a short story, but I wanted to take a moment to talk about being genuine. And if it's even possible to really be genuine and to be a successful YouTuber. I mean, I don't know. And I'm not saying that people lie or that people try to deceive you or things like that. Like I'm not throwing any shade at anybody because I personally have learned pretty much everything that I know about filmmaking from YouTube. Like I didn't go to film school or anything like that. But the thing is that I went out and I really applied it. Like I didn't just watch videos and I didn't learn things, just kind of like, in theory. I went out and I actually did it. Like I learned something and then I went out and I did it. And I got all this experience. And I've shot 2 feature films now. But what I'm talking about is being genuine. Like, if you're successful here, first of all, it's the obvious stuff that I don't really care about, like crazy thumbnails and, you got to get your SEO together. You got to get your titles together. Like there are certain fundamentals, just like being an athlete, like you could be the greatest athlete in the world, but if you don't learn how to dribble and learn how to shoot, learn how to play defense and watch film, you can't just like walk out on the floor and play in the NBA or play in college or even play in high school. Like you got to learn fundamentals. You can't, if you're a football player and you're a defensive back or something like that, you have to learn how to run backwards. You got to deal with your peripheral vision. You got to watch film. You got to learn tendencies of wide receivers and quarterbacks. And you can't just like walk out on a field and just play. Filmmaking, you have to learn certain fundamentals, the exposure triangle, ISO settings, white balance, certain how to use focal lengths when they're appropriate, aperture, how to use that. Like there are a lot of things that you have to learn. Sound, how to make dialogue sound good so you don't completely ruin your video, lighting, of course, like there are fundamentals. You can't just pick up a camera. You can't just have great ideas and make them happen. Same thing in theater. You have to learn how to be an actor. You have to learn how to connect. You have to learn how to write a script, if you're a writer. Like you can't just like walk out and do something without learning certain fundamentals, right? And so that's a given. If you want to be a successful YouTuber, you have to learn certain things. And there are certain rules that you have to kind of abide by to be successful. But what I'm wondering is if being genuine is one of those principles that you should follow. Because in my opinion, if somebody wants to do well on YouTube, they should not do what I do, First of all, I'm probably a good example of what not to do because I have like 624 subscribers or something like that, I think. And I get maybe, every once in a while I get a video that has 2,500 or 3,000 views. Or, sometimes there have been videos that other people have shot of me in performance or something like that have gotten a lot of views. But I'm talking about YouTube videos now. Like most of mine get 120 to 200 views, And, another YouTuber once said to me, imagine if you're in a theater or you're in a room with 200 people. That's a lot, or even 80 people. And that's true. I've performed in theaters in 99-seat houses, and if that place is full, it seems like a lot of people. So it's all relative, obviously. But to be successful as a YouTuber, you got to be like, you got to be in the hundreds of thousands or the millions to be on that level, that Casey Neistat kind of level, that level where, you can earn a living, a good living. And, but who can you trust? I mean, here's the thing. The more successful you become, the more people start giving you stuff, right? Like in the filmmaking world here, people are going to give you cameras, they're going to give you lenses, they're going to give you lights, they're going to give you sound recorders and lavalier mics and, boom mics and everything. And so they're going to sponsor your videos, they're going to pay you. And so what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like if somebody's giving you money to take care of your family, to improve your lifestyle, to have you pay for things and have a good life, you're going to like take their equipment, do a review and trash them? Of course not. And again, I'm not saying anybody's a liar, but what I am saying is that, YouTubers sometimes they'll oftentimes say, not everything is perfect about this camera, so now let me share with you a few things that I don't like. And that's cool, you know what I mean? But come on, it's more like marketing or PR, publicity. It's like if you work for a marketing company, a big major marketing company or a big PR firm, and you're representing, say, a Broadway play, trust me, if somebody gives you $1 million to get the account to push a Broadway show, you're going to take that money whether you like that show or not, and you're going to find a way to like it. You're going to figure out the things that you like about it and promote that to try to connect with people to get them to pay money to go see that play. Same thing with, YouTube. If somebody gives you a camera and then they pay you money to do your review, and it's enough money to pay your bills for 3 months or 6 months or a year or whatever, or you get sponsored by somebody for a year and you sign a contract and you're good, When somebody says, and this video is sponsored by Squarespace, if they say that for months and months at a time, that means that they're getting income from Squarespace. And so they have their little commercial that they say. And if they do a review about it, they're obviously going to say good things about it. And, I think everybody tries to only accept from companies that they believe in, but not always, If somebody offers you a good chunk of money and you could feed your children and your wife or your husband or whatever, that's like, you should take that. But who do you trust? Who do you believe? Who's got credibility? Why should anybody have credibility? You have to go by vibe or what feels like it connects with you, In my case, when I was looking for a camera, I was looking to upgrade because I was getting ready to shoot a feature film, and I knew that I was going to be shooting a lot at night. I knew that I needed something that shot better in low light than what I had, so I wanted a full frame camera. I knew that I wanted better stability, and so I watched all these videos, and at the time I was using a Sony APS-C camera, and so I was in the Sony world. So I was looking at an A7S III or an FX3. I was watching all my usual guys, but then I kind of started seeing other YouTubers because I was like, I don't want to spend $4,000, I mean, I had a Sony A6400. I paid $900 for it when I bought it. I didn't want to go to $4,000 after that. Plus, I had to get full frame lenses. Like, it was going to cost me $6,000 probably. And so, to make a long story short, it was really one YouTuber who kind of resonated with me to the point where I felt like he was telling the truth, like I believed him, and it was Patrick Tommaso. And, I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. I mean, he could be a total asshole for all I know. He seems like a really nice guy, a gentleman, seems cool. But I believed every word that he said, like I believed him. And so I wound up buying a Panasonic S5, which is what I'm using right now. And it was the greatest decision. I love this camera so much. And, I'm somebody who doesn't care about autofocus. Like, I shot the whole film with 2 vintage lenses, 2 Minolta Rokkor lenses, a 28mm f2.8 and a 50mm f1.4. Actually, the 28mm is called a Telesur, but they're all manual. They were my father's lenses. They look great on this camera, and this camera is incredible. It's got like cinema camera quality level image quality. It's incredible. The highlight roll off, the dynamic range, like everything about it. It's it's manageable. It's not really heavy, but it's not light. It's got good stability. Not crazy good, but it's really good. I made the right decision. But I listened to so many different people, and I was like, everything just sounded like an advertisement. And a lot of these guys do so many reviews that today, this camera that they're talking about is the greatest camera ever that you should buy. And then 3 weeks later, they got another camera that makes that one seem obsolete all of a sudden. And it's like, who do you listen to? And so, I don't know. The reason I'm making this video is because my intention with YouTube is just to do it for fun, for practice, because I shoot every single day. I feel like putting it out there in public is a way to be a little bit more accountable, even though, it's not my best work. Like, if you look at my YouTube channel compared to my feature films, there's a huge difference, because, see, that's the thing. I don't really attend to my YouTube work the way I should if I wanted to make it a career. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not worried if my B-roll is shaky a little bit or something like that, but in my feature film, I'm not messing around like that. I'm making that perfect. Because that's what I really do, Or if I'm doing a play, I'm very meticulous with it. Like, I'll memorize a 2.5-hour script, and I don't ad-lib at all, and I make sure every single word is nailed. and nothing could happen. A car alarm could go off and play for the whole show and it will not mess me up. People could get up and down, go to the bathroom, somebody could have a heart attack, like anything could happen. I'll never lose my words. But YouTube, it's a little bit different for me. And so, yeah, my intention is that I come on here probably 2 or 3 days a week sometimes, and I hope that I'm contributing something. I'm hoping that somebody gets something out of what I have to say, what I do. I'll never share something that I don't feel compelled to talk about. I'm not going to just come here and just, ramble on about nothing. I never do that. But also, I don't sit here and think, what's trending? What are people waiting for? What do people want? Like, I don't do that. And that's what you should do for YouTube. Like, I don't do that. I'm here because I feel it's really important to document every day of your life. Like, that's a thing for me, whether it be a journal and you're writing in it with a pen, or you're typing, or it's video, or it's audio and you're making a podcast or whatever. I think it's really something that's really meaningful and just like legacy building to document every day of your life. And imagine looking back on that for years and years. It's an incredible way to live, especially as an artist, in my opinion. So I'm not saying that people are not genuine, but I am saying that I can speak for myself. I'm completely genuine. There ain't going to be no bullshit on this channel ever. I'm not going to say anything just to get you to subscribe or just to get you. I'm not trying to manipulate you. I'm not trying to get you to come back all the time, although I appreciate it. And I would love for you to subscribe. I would love to make money off this channel, but that's not what I'm doing. I don't think like that. I had a mentor and a friend who's passed on named Jack Rollins. He was, very much older than me, much older than anybody during his lifetime at some point, because he lived to be like 101. But he gave me the greatest gift, as an artist that I ever have received from anybody. And we were sitting talking one day. I used to have these incredible conversations with him. We'd either be sitting out in Riverside Park in the spring or in the summer, or we'd sit in his beautiful apartment on Riverside Drive on the Upper West Side. And, we would sit there and have these amazing, deep conversations. He was a deep, very, very layered, complex guy. He was a heavy dude. And he was also a legend in the entertainment industry. He managed some of the biggest stars in the world. And I'm not going to start dropping names, but he was a big guy. And he knew a lot, and he was really smart and very insightful and very, very sensitive to stuff. He was kind of an empath, He was very kind of simple, and he had his things. He wasn't very flexible, certainly, but he paid attention. I think that was probably his greatest gift. He noticed things, He saw everything like nothing could get past him, And so he had just read a script that I wrote, my first play. And I was kind of nervous about it, and that's weird for me because I usually don't care what anybody thinks. But in this case, I wanted him to like it. And I had left the music business and I had just gotten into the theater. And sadly, he died before I wound up doing this play off Broadway, and he never got to see me perform it. But he read the script and we talked about it, and he said to me, "Rocco," because he always called me Rocco. He said, "This is beautiful." And I was like, wow. He goes, "Yeah, but you know why it's beautiful?" He goes, "It's well written. It's formatted properly, like all of that. I'm very proud of you. This is something you should be very proud of. Like little over 200 pages of words and a story and a cohesive story and a beginning, a middle, and an end and a exposition and conflict and resolution and all this stuff. Beautiful. It's beautiful." And it was like a memoir piece. It was about my life and my adoption and my ambivalent search for my biological mother. But anyway, he said, "You know why it's beautiful? It's beautiful because while I was reading it, I was thinking, this feels like you. Like, it feels like this kid that I know." He always called me a kid. He's like, "It feels like this kid, this person who I know." And that's the greatest compliment I could give you. Because the greatest artists, like the top, the best, the most powerful, the most important artists in the world are the ones who are willing to open up this window and allow people in to to their souls, you know, like to the deepest part of themselves, to really let people know them, to open that window up wide open and just let people come in and know them. And I don't, you know, not literally like give your home address and your personal information, like through their work, be that vulnerable, be that intimate, be that open, you know, be that generous, be that brave. And that's what I read here. That's what this is. That's what you are talking to you about it. It's so brave. It's so you. And it's like I know that people, when they see this, they're going to know you as well as I know, and they're going to love you just as I love you. And, you know, when he said that to me, I was like, wow. Because, you know, I have to be honest with you. My experiences are like that with an audience. Like I crave this connection, you know, like maybe it's because, you know, I was adopted or fostered or disconnected with my biological mother at birth or whatever, but I have this craving to connect with people. Like the best part of art for me is to share it, you know, to get into a room with a bunch of people and perform, or to share my films with people, or to tell stories. Like I love that, you know, I love it. I love sharing meals with people and just talking, you know, and just connecting. And I don't have a lot of people who I call my friend. But, you know, even if I sit around with somebody I don't consider my friend, I just love that kind of conversation, that discourse. And I'm way open. I'm so open that people kind of take it the wrong way sometimes too, because I'm like, I'm out there, you know what I mean? Like if you do get to talk to me, and I don't hang out with people and I don't do stuff like that generally, but if I do, you're going to get everything. You know, like I open up my window, you know, like it's just like when I get on stage, I like rip my chest open and I just drop my heart out on that stage for people to share with me, to just, you know, and then people I find do the same thing for me. They rip themselves open, and that's why my first play was called Broke Wide Open. And, you know, it's like when he said that to me, I realized that that's how I feel. Like that's what art is to me. That's what life is to me. To be vulnerable, to be intimate, to be open. Like why bother doing anything without that? You know what I mean? You know, life is about connecting. It's about people. It's about relationships. It's about, you know, exchange and discussion. And, you know, my plays and my films, they deal with difficult, you know, subject matter, but I try to make it beautiful characters, beautiful storyline. You know, I try to make people feel things so that they can then talk about these difficult stories, you know, these difficult subjects that they can't generally talk about in life, but because of this art, because art heals, right? Because art brings us together, because of that, you know, it makes things easier and we come together. And it's because I'm being as genuine as possible, because I don't know how to be any other way. And that's probably why I'm not a good YouTuber, because I'm not willing to make crazy thumbnails and, you know, and try to manipulate people to do certain things. Like, I don't do that, you know. And so it makes me wonder about who to trust, you know, and who to believe. And so I guess you just have to go with your instincts, you know, and you have to do your due diligence. And so I don't know. I just wonder if you can do both. And again, I'm not throwing shade to anybody. I'm not doing any of that. You know, I've learned so much from all of these people, and I have such respect for them. Mark Bone, Danny Gewirtz, you know, all these guys. I mean, Philip Bloom, Gerald Undone, like Potato Jet. Like I do feel like they are genuine to a certain extent, but I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Like there are smaller channels that I come across every once in a while that feel more genuine to me. And they're not gigantic YouTubers like Casey Neistat. Like I love his channel, but I don't feel like I know him at all, you know? The same thing with a lot of these big guys. I'm not going to start naming names because people are going to think I'm taking shots at them, but I don't feel like I really know them, you know? But I know that people who have seen my films or come to my plays or whatever, I've been told over and over and over again that they feel like they know me. You know, like I said, people sometimes get the wrong idea, you know? So I don't know if that's good for YouTube. But I guess, you know, you never know. And you have to do what's good for you and, you know, what you feel comfortable with. And as long as your intention is to contribute, and my intention is certainly to contribute and to offer something of value, I really always hope that people get something from what I share here. But I create stuff for me. You know, it's like, I'll finish by saying that Rick Rubin, a great music producer, once said that great art is created by the artist for the artist, not for the audience. And like I said before, I'm not thinking what's trending, what do people want. Like, I never think about that. I think about what compels me, what's important for me to share, what I think I have to put out there. You know, I've promised myself a long time ago I would never get on stage and I would never make a movie unless I had a story that I felt like I absolutely had to share. Like, I would die if I don't share this story. And, you know, that's just the way I am. Like, I'm not going to come on here and just, you know, create something that I think you want, you know. I'm not going to do that. It doesn't work for me. You know, I can't do that. It's not genuine for me. And so I guess I wouldn't be a good person in a marketing firm, or I wouldn't be a good PR person or something like that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a shitty YouTuber, or maybe I'm a great YouTuber. I don't know. But I know that I'm me, and that's all I could be. And the people who resonate with me the most on YouTube are the people who I feel are being themselves. You know, I take a leap of faith, and there's certain people I believe, and then there's a lot of people that I don't. But I learned something from everybody, that's for sure, and I'm so grateful for everyone. And so, again, I don't want this to be taken as me taking a shot at anybody or criticizing, because I'm not. I'm just thinking of this interesting notion of whether or not you can really, truly be genuine on YouTube. And what does genuine even mean, really? Like, what does that even mean? And I guess what I want to get from this video is for you to, you know, have watched this, if you're still here now, with no B-roll, and, you know, I didn't make this fantastical like I do some other videos where I create like a short film. But here, it's just my dialogue, you know? Like, I want you to walk away and question and ask yourself, are you being genuine? You know, and what does that even mean to you? And how does that fit in with what you're trying to accomplish, whether it's here on YouTube or in your life? Like, you know, because, you know, it's not as simple as just saying, always be genuine. Like, that ain't it. In my case, it is always it. You know, my work is genuine, everything about me. That's what because I don't know how to be any other way. And people have often tried to get me to do other things, but I'm like, I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the guy who's just ripping his chest open and giving you everything. And I'm too intense for certain people. I'm too much, you know, I'm a lot, all this kind of stuff. But that's just the way I am. I am intense, you know. Some people don't like that. That's okay. Some people like John Coltrane. Some people like Metallica, you know. Some people like Willie Nelson, and some people like, you know, the Beastie Boys or whatever. Like, people like different things. And that's okay. So, yeah. I'm finished. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Please subscribe. There I go. Please hit the like button if you like what I do. And that's it. If you're still here now, that's amazing. No B-roll, not a crazy cool kind of thing to try to keep you here. We just had a real conversation. And that, I kind of love that. Some of the best YouTube videos I've ever watched that I've enjoyed have been like this too. So, but, you know, my next video will probably be more fantastical. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Onward we go. See you soon. All right? Thank you. Bye.